any props today. So hi, today is March 29th. And this is Chair Pilates. So let's get going. All right, we're gonna start with just some easy breathing. Couple options. You can sit at the back of your chair where you're supported against the chair through your back, or you can sit towards the front edge of your chair where you're asking your body to sit up and work with you while we're doing some of these basic movements to start. So we're just gonna take some inhales. Go ahead and take your hands on your ribs and just breathe into your rib cage. And then exhale. Easy, don't overbreathe. It could make you dizzy. Again, inhale and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Good. Then we'll just lift the shoulders up and let them settle back down. Lift them up and let them settle down. So find the difference between up here and down here. A lot of times we spend a lot of time up here. So we want to let the shoulder blades decompress and relax. And then the shoulder blades slide up and the shoulder blades slide down. So this movement happens in the back of the body from the shoulder blades. Go ahead and breathe with it. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. So on that exhale, as the blades drop, think about you getting taller. Everything comes up. As the shoulder blades drop down, your spine lengthens. One more time, inhale. It's a very subtle movement. And exhale. Good. We'll bring the shoulder blades forward. So it'll feel like you're curling your shoulders in. And then we'll pull the shoulder blades together. So again, moving from the shoulder blades, come around the body and go back. Around the body. My spine is going to bend a little bit. Inhale back. I'm also letting my arm bones rotate. So the arm bones turn inward. And then as I open up the chest and draw the shoulder blades together, my arm bones externally rotate. Curl. Let's add the head. Inhale, open. Not a big fan of letting your head drop all the way back. So just a little baby extension in the neck works. Exhale, curl forward. Inhale, open up. This all started from the shoulder blades, this movement. The shoulder blades move around to the front and they draw together in the back. We're just adding the rest of the body to the exercise. Inhale up. Let's do one more time. Exhale, draw the belly button this time as you go forward. And then inhale, open up the ribs. Yes. Good. Just the right shoulder. Lift up and circle back. So this, again, is a shoulder blade movement. It comes from the shoulder blade. It doesn't come from here. Shoulder blade lifts up, drops down, lifts up and drops down. That takes all that stress and strain off that shoulder joint. One more time, let's go the other way. I only like to go backwards. I think we spend way too much time like this already. So there's really no reason to go forward. We do that plenty. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Let's start adding some lift of the arm. So the arm bone is going to slide up into the shoulder socket. The shoulder blade is going to move. Okay, so the shoulder blade lifts up, shoulder blade comes down. Again, start with this bent elbow and decrease your range of motion if you have any pain. People get a little pinchy up here sometimes. You want to allow that arm bone to slip right into the shoulder and down. If you don't move your shoulder blade, you're going to feel that pinchiness. Let's make it a little larger if possible. Nice, easy movement from the back. You can add a longer lever by straightening your arm. If that bothers you, stay with that bent elbow. Let's add the body into the exercise. So now we'll start to bend our spine with the movement. Try to not overwork right here. Again, if the shoulder blade moves, the arm will come up. It'll just follow that trajectory up and over. Inhale, exhale, lift. Let's add a side bend towards the floor now. And up and over, so we're bending the spine. Inhale to come up. Exhale, side. One more time, inhale up. And exhale to the side. Good. Hands on your knees, just check in here for a second. So we're gonna twist this way. Just a little teeny twist from that side of your body. And then we're gonna twist the other way. And see if you notice any difference between the two sides. Sometimes if we've moved on one of those sides, it's become a little bit more flexible. And back to the middle. All right, here we go. Other side, shoulder blade moves up and down. So if this was my shoulder blade, this palm, my shoulder blade has to do that to allow my arm to move. No stuck shoulder blades, please. Lift up and down and lift. Good, spine is staying pretty straight for this. We're just moving the arm and the shoulder blade. Start to increase your range of motion if that's comfortable. Good, let's start adding the side bend. So we're only going to side bend one way right now. So in Pilates, we encourage the spine to move in all different directions. Side bending is one of them. Flexion is another one, which is folding forward. Twisting and rotating is another one. And then extension would be your last one. All those movements keep the disc healthy. I'm going to extend my arm and I'm going to start to go this way now. Inhale up over, exhale down. So I maximize my range of motion. So if we were using a prop, which I pretty much use one every time, we might use TheraBands for this. Holding it, pulling it creates tension. We might use weights. We might have to hold the ball without dropping it. One more time. Good. And breathing. One of the other principles of Pilates is breath. So let's go ahead and rotate the body. So I'm going to use this hand to push against this leg a little bit to help me to come around. I'm also going to take this hand under my chair, and that's going to help me increase my rotation. Just take 2 breaths here. And then come back. Take this hand here, take this hand under the side of the chair. So you can do this either sitting at the front or sitting back against the chair. Come on back, let's do it again. I'm just going to move to the back of the chair, just so you can see what that looks like. I might need to bring my hand behind if I'm sitting towards the back. And switch. And then come center. Good, I'm going to encourage everybody to move a little bit more forward. So we're going to do a little bit of flexion here. We're going to let the legs open up a little bit. So flexion is bending forward. Any kind of dizziness, limit the movement, right? Or leave it out altogether. I want to make sure that my sitting bones, those little things you sit on back there, under there, are firmly on top of the chair. But I want my thighs to be free from the edge, which is why I wanted you to move forward. So my thighs have space, my butt cheeks are firmly on top of the chair, arms are going to be inside the legs. I'm just going to nod my head, and then I'm going to start to let my spine roll towards the floor. No falling off, please. Start small, go about halfway and come back up. Inhale, exhale, roll through the upper spine and then come back up. So in this situation, we might be holding weights, which draws the body towards the floor. And then you would have to use your spine muscles to sit back up, which you're doing right now. But if you add weights to your hands, it just gets a little bit more challenging. Up. Exhale to go down. And if you want to start going towards the floor and touching the floor, you can. Again, watch if you have any dizziness, watch that. Exhale down. Come on back up. Let's do one more time. Exhale forward. And come on back up. Good. All right, legs together now. Okay, so legs together, thighs touching. Again, I'm sitting towards the front edge of the chair. I'm just going to place my hands on the side and I'm going to lift my heels up, opening up my ankles, and then dropping the heels back to the floor. Exhale to lift. While I'm doing this, I'm going to start to think about my abs and drawing them back towards my lower back. My spine's not going to move. I'm just going to lift my heels, drawing my tummy. Inhale, drop the heels down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, drop. So when I take a breath in, I let my belly go slightly. Exhale, drop back in. I don't want to maintain this super deep push against my organs in there. I want to let everything in here breathe. So inhale. You might want to put your hand here if you want. Exhale. And feel your abdominal wall, those muscles in your core, draw back as your heels go down. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. I switched the breathing, sorry. And exhale. Good. Now we're going to curl the lower part of the body. We did the upper part. Now we're going to curl the lower part. So I'm going to turn my chair so that you can see what I'm talking about. You guys stay right where you are. So you're still sitting at the front edge of the chair. Here I'm sitting up straight. I'm in a pretty neutral position. I have a little bit of a curve in my lower back here. You can't really see it, and my pelvis is sitting on top of my sitting bones. Here are my hip bones. See if you can wiggle around a little bit to feel your sitting bones under there. And then I'm going to just kind of roll my pelvis back. I'm not leaning back, right? I'm not starting at the upper part of the body. I'm starting down here. I'm going to twist my pelvis under me and then sit back up. So it's just kind of like pivoting like that. Exhale and inhale. And again, if you want to put your hands on your belly to feel your belly engaged, to draw your pelvis back, and then inhale back up, and exhale. So you want to flatten those internal muscles against your organs, because they're in between, right? They're inside there. So we're giving them a little massage, a little organ massage. Exhale. So we're still doing flexion because we're changing this joint. Exhale. I'm going to start to increase it a little bit. So arms are out. I'm going to tuck my pelvis under me and I'm going to roll to the back of the chair, touch the back of the chair, and then sit back up. And again, it's not a hinge. This would be a hinge, right? Where your upper body goes first. This is a curl and tuck. And your back just barely touches the chair before you roll and come back up to sit. Seated. Exhale back. Good. If your arms start to get tired, go ahead and cross them like so. Exhale, curl back. It'll make the exercise a little bit more challenging because you're bringing your body and your arms closer to your body. So your core muscles will have to start working a little harder to move you back up into this position. Exhale, curl back, back up. One more time, curl back. Let's stay here. So I'm slid underneath, right? I'm not like this. My spine isn't popping forward. I'm drawing my ribs back, drawing my abs in, tucking my tailbone underneath me. Let's lift a leg up. You need to be in this tucked under position to allow the leg to really lift easily in the hip. Lift. Let's add the arms. Press. So we have this nice hip flexion. Lift. I'm still leaning against the chair. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Reach the arms. Bring yourself back up to seated. Good. So now we'll do the hinge with a flat back. So we ask the spine to curl underneath us. Again, changing the shape of the spine makes all those muscles work. Now we'll ask the spine to sit up very tall and straight. Again, arms in front. You hinge to the back, and then you sit back up. You might notice this is a little bit actually more challenging than the one we just did. Now, if this hurts your back at all, move back closer to the chair, right? So you don't have to travel quite as far. And then if you're like, okay, I'm good there, you can move up a little bit. So by reaching the arms, we're counterbalancing the exercise. Try to keep the legs quiet. Try to keep your quadriceps quiet. They don't drag your body back up to seated. Your core muscles bring your body back up to seated. So inhale, exhale. You should feel everything kind of hug as you come back up. At least I hope so. Last 2. One more time. Good. I'm going to get even further towards the front. That's a decision you can make on your own. And I'm going to cross my arms. So now I'm really relying on my spine muscles to do the work here and my core. Hinge back. Going back's easy. It's getting back up. Inhale back. Again, if it hurts your back, then you scoot back closer to the chair. Inhale back. Last 2. One more time. And up. Good. Go back into your tuck. Tuck and curl. And if you're not used to this movement, where you're scooping your pelvis under you, doing it on a chair is a really great way to practice it. Another thing, keep going. Another thing we would do maybe with one of the props is use it back here to give you feedback that you can feel yourself rolling back into the ball. All right. So let's do a little challenge here. Tuck and curl. Make sure you stay in the curl as one of your arms comes up and down. Now the other side. So stay in that position in your pelvis while your arms move up and down. Again, legs are not, you'll feel them tighten up, but that's not why you're staying in this position. Last 2, last 1, and come up to seated. Yes? Hinge. Let's do the hinge. So this is the long, flat spine. You hinge back. You sit back up. So now we're going to hinge and hold. You're going to drop your elbow, reach, drop your elbow, reach, sit back up. I'm turning my hand palm up when I pull my elbow back. This is a flat spine. This is not a curled spine. Back, touch, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. Reach, sit up. Now see if you can do that without touching the chair, okay? I'm gonna move up to the front a little bit more. Gives me a little bit more challenge. Go to the hinge, draw in my core, keep my spine really straight. Pull, pull, reach, reach. I'm gonna add a tiny little twist at my rib cage. For 5, 4, 3, lean against the chair if it bothers your back. 1, arms out and sit up. Good, shoulders down, rolling back. Yay. And 5, good. I'm turning back this way. Let's go to legs wide, knees roll in, knees roll out. So again, if I sit at the front edge of my chair, that frees up the back of my legs. Open and close. Open and close. One more time. Let's go into toes. So you're on your toes, heels are lifted. In and out. In and out. So I'm gonna put my hands here. And when my legs get here, my arms are gonna stop my legs. And then inward and press. In. Press against the legs. Exhale. So now I got my armpits going. I got my obliques going on the sides. Exhale, press. One more time, press. And down. Let's go back to that roll down. We're gonna add a little bit of an extension when we come back up. So legs are wide, drop the chin, roll forward. Don't fall off your chair. Come back up. Lift your arms, hold your head, and do a slight back bend. Arms on the inside of the legs, roll down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, roll back up. Hold your head, make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders, and just let your head relax. We're bending the upper part of your spine. So we spend a lot of time these days like this, right? With a phone in our hand, and we're bent over like this. So we need to allow this part of your spine to lift. And then I'll change directions down. And then come back up. Come up to a neutral spine, lift the arms, hold my head so it doesn't get in my neck, and allow my ribs to go forward and my upper back to lift. And down. And roll up. Hold your head, extend the upper spine. Last time down. Roll up, lift. And my pelvis stays relatively still on that one. It doesn't shift forward. All right, let's go. Arms inside the legs. Press into the legs as they try to come towards each other. Let's go back up to the toes. Press in, open, press in. So if we were using a prop, here we would use a ball, and the ball would take the place of your hands. For 4, little hip work, 3, 2, and 1. That was my hip bone you heard. Okay, tuck and curl under you and lean back into the chair. Yes? Let me turn around. Oh, some of the other props we use are like sliders. We use sliders, which is like a heating pad or a hot pad, and we just can slide our legs on the floor. That's one of our other props, but that one, everybody has one of those. All right, so tuck and curl back. So I'm leaning against the chair, my hips are underneath me, legs are relaxed. We're gonna go hands behind the head and do a slight rotation, and exhale, cross over. So I want you to let your body roll over to the side of the chair. Inhale, exhale, switch. So now we're doing rotation, using the back of the chair for support. Come center, reach your arms, come back up. So we're gonna lift up a leg and only rotate to that leg. Again, you can use the back of the chair for support. Arms in front. Exhale, tuck and curl back. Make sure you're in that scooped position, not in this position. So draw the ribs back, draw the abs in. Lift up a leg, hold your head. Cross over. Put your leg down, exhale, cross. So if we were on the floor doing a Pilates mat class, this would be your crisscross exercise. Twist, last two, last one. Good, arms reach, sit back up. So because we're not laying down, you do feel some hip flexor here. It's okay. It's all right, it's not a big deal. Arms out, tuck and curl back. Hold the head, lift the leg, twist, drop it, pick it up. Focus on the trunk muscles, the core, for 3, 2, and 1. Good, reach the arms, come back up to seated. So many things we can do with the little ball, especially in between the ankles for the hips. So because we don't have one, you're gonna put your heels together and your toes are pointed outwards, and we're just gonna lift and lower the heels. So while you do this, you're gonna squeeze your heels together on the way up. So you might feel some of that work happening here in this really high upper inner thigh area. 5, 4, 3, 2, I need better lighting. 1, I've said that like a million times, haven't I? All right, turn your heels out. This is a high class operation, guys. Need one of those fancy ring lights they keep showing on TV. Okay, heels are turned outward, which means your legs are gonna turn inward. And we're gonna do that same thing. So we're gonna lift up and push down. So again, if we were using a prop, the ball would be here, which would force your legs to press into the ball. You can put your hands here to get a sense of that. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Good. Okay. We're gonna stand up and we're gonna sit down. If you have some knee issues and this is not an exercise you're interested in doing, you can certainly leave it out until we end up standing up and doing some leg work standing. We don't stay in the chair the whole time. So what I need you to do is hinge forward towards your legs and then come back up to seated. So as you hinge your body forward, you'll feel through your feet, the weight distribution changes. And then you come back up to sit on your sitting bones one more time, forward and up. So by tilting your upper body that direction, this allows your weight transfer to help you stand. So then you stand and then you want to tilt your body again and then take your seat or your butt back into the chair. So that stops you from pushing your knees forward. So tilt, you can use your hands if you want. Stand and then fold at your hip and sit down. So we're breaking down standing up and sitting down. We're breaking it down. I don't expect you to do this during the day, but if you start to teach your body how to do it like this, where it doesn't impact your knees, like that, right? If you start to sit like that, where your knees go like that, that's a little bit of strain on the knees. So stand up and sit down, hinge at your hip, stand, hinge, sit down. One more time. So how do we make that exercise more challenging for some? Part of what I like to do in this class is I like to elevate each exercise to a different level so that no matter who's here, they can do it and they can challenge themselves a little bit further if they like. So what we can do is hinge into the position and then just hold and hover and then sit back down. So your knees will probably tell you right away, I don't like that. So then you can continue up with the with the full standing and sitting. But if you want to add a little challenge, you just kind of hang out here for a second and then come back down. Make sure your core muscles are drawn in to support your weight. Inhale to sit, exhale to hover. The closer you get to the chair, the more challenging it becomes. So if you just pick your butt up about 1 inch, you're going to feel a whole lot of legs. One more time. Here, here. Everybody up, please. And we're going to stand on the right side of the chair. Feet in parallel, so take a look at your feet and make sure that one leg usually likes to do like this kind of thing. And then what happens is you end up standing always on this leg, or it'll do the other way, right? And this becomes kind of like a comfortable position. And then everything kind of starts to shift over there. So I like to practice standing on both feet. I like to be aware of that. Am I standing on both feet? Am I distributing my weight evenly through both legs so that I don't have any hip pain, right? Here. It's not the only reason you might have that pain, but it might be one of them. All right, so we're just gonna stand on the inside leg without the hip popping out. So nice, long, even line here on this inside leg. I'm using my chair for balance and support. I'm just gonna tap this opposite leg to the front without my hip moving or my pelvis moving. And then step back center, and then I'm gonna go to the side and step back center and go to the back. Front. So standing leg stays very sturdy. It doesn't move. It supports my weight while my other foot comes off the floor, out to the side, back in, back. And you should probably be feeling that standing leg already if you're not shifting on it. And back. Good, now we'll do it without putting the foot down. So we're really gonna put demand on this leg. And again, if that doesn't work for you, you stick with the exercise we did just in front of that. So I'm not touching anymore. Back. Front, side, back, standing legs getting a nice little workout, side and back. Good. Turn toward the top of your chair. Put your hands flat in the center so that your weight is distributed evenly along the top of the chair. Round your spine. And then go into extension. So this is a nice little cat-cow. Exhale, round. And extend. And exhale, round. So I'm using my hands on the top to help bring my spine up into this position. One more time, scooping and lifting the tummy muscles into the body to move my pelvis. And then back to neutral. All right, so we're gonna go into a plank from here. So I'm gonna step back with one leg. The other leg's gonna have to bend. Make sure my arms are solidly in my shoulders. If this is where you wanna stay, you can stay here. Otherwise, both feet back. And then I'm gonna bring my hips down so I'm in a plank position. Nice strong body. Everything's super on and engaged. Inner thighs, spine, shoulders, hands. Step back in. Lift your spine up, step back in, and round up to standing. Good, just for fun, come back to the front side of your chair and sit down and stand up a couple times. So remember, you wanna hinge first, making sure the booty goes back behind you and knees don't go forward for 3. And 2. And one more time. Then we'll stay standing and come to the other side. When you're hanging onto your chair for support, first of all, your touch is light. You don't want to have to reach back for it, right? You want to stand somewhat slightly behind it. You always have the option of taking your hands away to challenge yourself, but if that's not a position for you that is safe, please don't do it, because we're in virtual land, and especially if you're alone and you fall, nobody can help you, right? So you know your body better than I do. Trust what you need to do to make your exercise successful. This is why I offer this class, because I know a lot of people have balance issues, and it's still a challenging class, but you have support. So we're not gonna push this hip out. We're gonna stand right on top of this leg, lift that other leg up, and bring the leg back together, off to the side and back together, to the back and together. Tap front, front, together, and side. So I'm standing on both feet as I come back to my start position. Side. You may not be able to tell that because I'm not swaying in my hips at all. Front, step together, side, and back. Good. So now option is to keep the foot off the floor while you change all those directions. I'm sorry you can't see me better. All right, here we go. Front, together, side, back. So I'm keeping my foot flexed so it doesn't touch the floor. Back, front, side, back. Standing leg is saying hello. Front, side. One more set of these. Front, side, and back. Good. Feet together. Face your chair. You have about 3 or 4 inches apart from the feet. Bring your hands down to the top. Curl. Extend. Exhale, curl. So that tilt of the pelvis in this position, where your hip bones tilt down, that gives you this nice hamstring stretch, right? It's not really a lower back thing. It's the pelvis changing its position from a rounded position where the hip bones are scooped up to pointing the hip bones down towards the floor, which stretches your hamstrings, right? It's not really a lower back thing because your abs are still lifted. They're controlling that lower back. One more time. Good. Let's go into our plank. Again, weight distributed perfectly in the center on the top of your chair. This is obviously why you don't want a chair that has wheels on it for something like this, right? Because the chair might get pushed away, you fall on your face, all that kind of stuff. So we do not want that to happen. You can always use a mat also underneath your chair legs. Mine's the same color as my floor, so you can't really see it, but I have a mat underneath my chair. That way it doesn't move, right? I can't push it. And sometimes when people do planks, let's step that foot back. They initially will be back here in their plank. See how my shoulders are behind my hands, and the chair will get pushed that way. So you want to make sure that you keep your shoulders up on top of your palms. I know that can be challenging for people's wrists sometimes, but you know what? It's not a bad thing to make your wrist bend. All right, here we go. Here. So if your hips are up a little bit, it's a little easier. When you bring the hips back into alignment with the rest of your body, that's going to make the body weight more challenging. You have to use your arms. Please don't let your head drop. So your neck is part of the rest of your body. One more breath. Step in, round your spine, come up to standing. Okay? We're gonna step to the back of the chair. And we're gonna do, so I like to move your limbs around in all different directions. We haven't done a whole ton of arm stuff. That's where the TheraBand comes in. But we have done trunk and legs. So let's go out into this turned out position with your feet. Let me move this for a second. So my feet are slightly rotated outward, which forces my legs to rotate outward, which forces my hip muscles to rotate outward, right? My hip support muscles. If we only do everything like this, then we only train everything like this. So if you go into this external rotation, you might feel your booty engage a little bit from this position, and then we'll use the chair for balance. Your knees are going out to these sides. If this exercise does not work for you, take a little break and have a seat. The width of the legs makes a huge difference. Why you want to use the chair, so that you can get your legs out nice and wide. So if I go here, my knees are, I can still see my toes. This is maybe as far as you want to go. I can go lower. I'm really flexing my hip and my knees. What I am not doing is doing that, right? I'm not pushing my knees out. I'm going straight down. Notice how, again, I make that shift in the pelvis and bring the spine forward slightly to distribute the weight through the back of my legs into my heels. This takes the strain off my knees. It's nice to use the chair to do this because it adds stability. So you can make sure that your hips go back slightly so you can get down into that deep lunge. 4 more. 3, 2, 1 more. And 1. Good. Let's walk the feet in. Okay. Let's sit sideways. Like so. Now I know if you have a really tall chair, you can't put your arm back here. But you can maybe hang on to the side right here. Preferably, you should be able to get your arm over the chair and hold on to the edge. We're going to drop this arm. And again, we're not using any kind of prop. So maybe we would use the weights for something like this. I don't change props. I pick one. We use that the whole time. So this would be your standard bicep curl. Not so hard. We're sitting up tall. But then maybe let's add a little spinal movement to it. So maybe we'll hinge back a little bit. Now we don't have a chair back behind us, right? That's why I'm going to use this hand back here. So we'll hinge back and maybe do a little bicep curl here. And then maybe sit back up, drop the arm, turn the hand around so the palm is facing backwards and lift the arm up behind you. Activates the triceps. Let's try that in a hinged position. Hold on to the chair for help. So reach back. Again, if we had the weight in our hand, that would create more tension. One more time, press and lift. Okay, arm in front. Maybe we would hold the weight for this one too. Let's twist out away from the back of the chair. And then twist towards the back of the chair. And twist away. And twist in. Good. Part of doing this class also is you start to learn how to hold your arms up without struggling, right? You're able to hold your arms because where you're holding them from is from your back, not from the top of your shoulder. One more time. Here and here. So maybe we go back here and pull the elbow in and reach it back. So my trunk is twisted away from the back of the chair. So I'm now in this rotation and I'm just going to reach and pull back in, reach and pull back in. And then maybe I add, so I'm still hanging on. Maybe I add a lean back and pull back in. And a lean away and pull back in. And then maybe I add the opposite leg. So the opposite leg goes out and in. So there's a lot going on here. I'm holding onto the chair, reach back, pull in. I'm gonna watch where I'm going. So I'm gonna look back and then I'm gonna look forward. I'm gonna look back one more time. And then also we might be holding the weight, right? When we do that. Drop your arm down. Take both hands, twist around to the back side of the chair. And use that chair to twist you and lift you. One more breath. Then unwind your spine and come to the front. And I'm going to do the same thing in the front. I'm going to push into my legs with this arm, and I'm going to grab the bottom side with this arm, which helps me create this twist. And release. Spin around. Go bicep curl. You can do them with weights, you can do them with TheraBand. And then maybe we hinge back and do it. So you'll notice the arm movement affects the spine and core connection, right? Come on back up. So maybe, for example, if someone wanted a bigger challenge for that exercise, maybe we would advance it like so, where you take your arm away from the chair, and don't do this if you're not comfortable doing it, and you would hinge back. So now you can't hold on to anything and you do your bicep curls. So that's just a way to make it more interesting and more challenging. And then sit back up. And then we hold the chair again and we press the arm back with a straight spine. 2 and 1. And then we hinge back to push the arm. Just getting the spine muscles involved from this position. And again, if you wanted to get a little more challenging with it, you would let the chair go and hold your spine in space here while this arm moves back. We might weight this arm one more time and then back up to seated. Then the elbow twist and reach, come in, face front, twist and reach. We're running out of time. Face front. My classes are never the same. I teach with my heart. So I don't write anything down. I don't have a formula except the Pilates formula, which is to move your spine in all directions, which engages your trunk muscles, which helps you be a stronger human being. Let's add the hinge. So hinge back, twist, reach, come back up, twist and reach. And again, like we did before, if you wanted to make the exercise harder, pay attention, start small. You might let go with the back of with the hand on the back. Hinge, reach. This is twice as challenging as if you were holding on. Watch your hand in the back. So just be super careful, no falling backwards. One more time. Back, twist, reach, and come back in. Good, turn back to the front. So I don't ever teach 2 classes the same because I don't have like a formula or a program written down. I use the Pilates Principles to teach my classes. Breathing, centering, focus, bending the spine in all different directions, working in the shoulder and the hip joints to keep them strong so that your elbows and your knees and your ankles are happy, right? Let's talk in curl. Hang on to the kneecaps. And then inhale up into extension by hanging onto your knees and pulling your ribs forward. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Good, that's flexion and extension. Rotate to one side, this is rotation. Rotate to the other side. And we'll finish with a little side bend. Bring the arm straight up the side of the head without shrugging your shoulder. That's a whole class in itself. How do you lift your arm without shrugging your shoulder? And then side bend over to the side. And we'll drop the arm over here so we can go that way. I'm just gonna let this hand hang out on my leg here. Slide the arm up the side. Try not to shrug while you do it. Over, you might shrug at the last second there, that's totally fine. Side bend the other way. Come this way up, inhale. Exhale over. Good, drop the arm down. Side bend the other way, one more time, bend the elbows, slide up the side of your head. Side bend. Go the other way. That's a side bend. So as long as we're incorporating all of those principles into my class, I'm happy. All right, we'll start.